And now, delivered to you straight from the 505's most news-biting source of politi-comma-tainment, it's the New Mexican Inquisition with Danger Caveros.
Hey everybody, how you doing? We got a heck of a studio audience tonight, Sean.
Yeah.
My gosh. That's our production manager, Sean Riley. Everyone put it together for the studio crew real quick. We're well into our 4th season. I can't believe they're letting us get away with this, Sean. Oh my gosh. We have a lot of really explosive guests on the show tonight. We have a UNM professor from Anderson School of Management, Dr. Harry Van Buren III. We're also going to have an electrifying performance from 2 of my favorite improv performers in the history of the universe. It's Phil and Wes on the show tonight. I don't even know what they're going to do. I don't think they know what they're going to do. That's improv, though, right? We'll talk about a few things that are in the news, though. I think it's safe to say that Albuquerque Rapid Transit has finally imploded on itself like a dying star. Yeah, it's over, man. After spending $135 million, after one person died, remember crashing into the bus stop? Like, after all we've been through, Mayor Tim Keller has just announced that he's sending back the entire fleet of electric buses and suing BYD, the manufacturer of the bus company. We're ordering some new buses that'll be here probably never. And we had so many problems with the buses that we got, though. We were promised that they were going to be able to go 275 miles on one charge, but we got about half of that out of them. And when we were charging them, they were overheating. The brakes were malfunctioning. There was cracking on the sides. This is a true story. Every time the bus drivers turned on the air conditioner, the locking mechanism on the wheelchair lift broke. I'm glad we can laugh about it now and send them back before something terrible happened. Oh my gosh, you know, like, does anything on the buses work, you might be asking? Anything at all? Well, it turns out, and this is an insider scoop I got from the mayor's office, there was one thing that worked. If you stood in front of an ART bus on a moonless night and said the words, Mayor Barry 3 times, he would actually appear out of hiding behind you and forcibly insert an entire electric bus into your ass. Very metaphorical. I'm thinking about trying it out just so I can grab a hold of him and shackle him down to one of the bus stops, you know, and get Monica Youngblood to drunk drive over his head 100,000 times. Where is Mayor Barry? Oh, man. Yvette Harrell, the loser, or not yet official loser in the 2nd congressional district race, did an interview recently on cable TV, and the only place where sore losers tend to go, and that's on Fox News, where she claimed without any evidence or details whatsoever that there were over 100 documented complaints about voting in the 2nd congressional district. Where are you getting your information, Yvette? Huh? Same place you get your hair done. She's now suing for custody of the absentee ballots that she'd like her crew to go over herself. I don't know what they even want from them, you know, because Sochi is already in Washington, D.C. getting freshman orientation, right? Go Sochi, Torres Small. You know, maybe we can let Yvette have all the ballots and let them do whatever they want. We can live stream it so we can see the horror on her face as she realizes the truth. That she lost, guys. She lost. But You know, we all win because Attorney General Hector Balderas had just announced that he's dispersing $60,000 for New Mexico legal aid. This will help pay for, this will pay for public defenders and things like that. But $60,000 doesn't seem like that much money, does it? I mean, it's hardly enough money for Monica Youngblood to use to pay for her court fees, her breathalyzer installing, and her car out of impound. People at home are like, when are they going to leave this Monica Youngblood thing alone? We're not. Monica Youngblood's a hot new thing. That's the violent cops of season 4 New Mexican Inquisition. We're going to hit that button again and again and again. 4 registered voters are arguing in a petition filed to the state Supreme Court that the current primary ballot setup is unconstitutional and at taxpayers' expense unfairly favors major political parties. But everybody knows that if you're independent or unaffiliated party member and you try to vote in a primary, it's sadder than Yvette Herrell is right now. But hey, this is New Mexico. You got to join a gang if you want to party all hard, okay? George Lopez is facing misdemeanor battery charges after getting into a little scuffle with a Trump supporter at a Hooters in Las Cruces. That headline is funny enough on its own. What happened, there was a video that was on TMZ, and it shows the guy after repeatedly harassing and insulting George Lopez. George had enough, and he grabbed the guy by his neck and tried to take his phone away from him. But, you know, I think we should leave George alone on this one, because it seemed to me in the video that he was just trying to make America great again, a la Las Cruces style. You know, like... Michelle Lujan Grisham, the governor-elect of New Mexico, has met with Governor Susana Martinez to go over the roundhouse, get oriented, see where everything's are. You know, like she wanted Susana to show her where the bathrooms are and how to work the door locks to keep the press out of the 4th floor of the roundhouse. Rio Rancho Public Schools have officially voted to allow security officers on campuses to carry real live guns. It's kind of scary to me, you know, like imagining that playing out in real time, because what are the security guards going to be doing most of the time? You know, hey kids, keep off the grass. We got a great show for you tonight. I hope you stick around for our amazing guests right after these messages. You got it, folks. Welcome back to the Mexican Inquisition. I have, as I mentioned before, an electrifying performance in store for you tonight. So I want you to feast your eyes on the improv geniuses, Phil and Wes.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming out. We're Phil and Wes. We perform around Albuquerque at the Box and T-Lab and maybe a random house party here and there. All we need from you is a suggestion to get us started.
Yeah, can we get a suggestion of an emotion, maybe something you felt today, like relief or anger or... I heard... What was that?
Being annoyed.
Being annoyed. Thank you very much. Being annoyed.
Mrs. Peterson?
Ah, yes, Jimmy.
I've just noticed lately that our classroom never has any paper.
Why, Jimmy, we're a completely paperless classroom. I mean, just type on your iPad. That's fine. What's wrong with that?
Well, I feel like I don't have enough material to learn and express myself in your classroom, Miss Peterson.
Oh, Jimmy, you have plenty of material here. Here, just look at your little Zumba robot that teaches you to clean and be responsible for an animatronic creature.
Well, I feel like it takes care of itself, Mrs. Peterson, and all I have is herbal green tea on my desk.
Well, that's all you need. Do you need anything else, like crackers or something?
Well, I talk to my friends at lunch, you know, and they're learning algebra and stuff, and all we're learning, you just drink tea in the front of the classroom and say, learn on your own, kids. Life is about learning on your own.
Life is about learning on your own, Jimmy. How do you think I made it here? I learned all the skills I need from YouTube and whatever C&M class I was gonna take. And that's how I learned. That's how I got here.
But I feel
Oh, Jimmy, here. Have this electric neck massager. See, don't
Miss
you feel...
Peterson,
Hey!
I
Hey now! I got that from Sharper Image. Well, now you ruined the
I'm
nest.
leaving your class. You can flunk me. Flunk me. Huh?
Jimmy, where's all this anger coming from?
I just want to learn something. I'm falling behind. In the standardized tests, I always get 0. Because there's no questions about tea or Roombas.
Look, a 0 in binary means yes. So that means yes,
That's
you are
not
good
true.
enough. Yes, it's
That's
good.
not true.
It's good.
1 means yes. 1 means true.
No, it doesn't. Look. I wasn't quite ready to give you this yet, but I think you've moved on up to teacher's assistant.
I don't want to be your assistant.
I'm sorry, I already made your vest and everything.
It has a screen print face of mine on it.
That's right, and little LEDs. Say Jimmy.
No, I refuse. No. Flunk me. Do it right now. Get in your iPad and put a big old F. I don't care if I have to take it again, as long as
Jimmy,
it's not
I
with
have
you.
never flunked a single student. And I'm not going to do it now. Everybody has passed. And you're going to pass. All right? Jimmy?
Not if I kill myself.
Wow.
I'm going to make a statement. I'm going to rip out the insides of this Roomba and just put it in my mouth.
Don't you do that! Don't you do that! No, Jimmy!
Let this be a message to all the other students.
God damn you, APS!
Let's say thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Cool. Do we have more time, or are we good?
Okay. Guys,
Awesome.
fantastic.
Oh,
Come join us on the couch. Let's talk to you for a second.
Cool.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
You know, this is the first time that we've had a performer on the show, and I was not sure if it was over. Usually there's like a bling, thank you, you know? Or, you know, the girl with the hula hoops, she like puts them all down, and she's done hooping. But you guys,
Yeah, usually we do a run in front, and then we start a new scene. If this was a show, we'd just run in front.
Right.
Someone would, and then we'd start a new scene.
yeah, or kill the lights, you know, like damn you
Yeah,
APS,
yeah,
and then
yes.
the lights fade very
Yeah.
dramatically.
Exactly. Yes.
So you have been doing improv together for how long? I don't mean exclusively, because you've been, you know, not exclusive, you know.
right.
That's true.
I mean, how long have you been?
Right, we've
how-
seen other improvisers, you know,
Right.
on the sides and stuff.
Right.
I think it's 5 years.
5 years? Yeah,
I think
mine's
so.
5 years.
And how long has it been just you two?
Oh, I thought it. Well, 5 years we've known each other and been
Okay.
doing improv. But we've been doing improv for.
Together for 4 years, I'd say.
Oh.
There's a year we weren't together. But overall, as Phil and Wes, we've been doing this for a year.
But I mean, here's my
It's not good.
What are you asking us?
here's
We're awkward improvisers.
I just don't see how the duration of your improvising together is relevant to your act.
Well.
Oh, that was my question, wasn't it?
Oh. Well, it definitely builds trust.
So you don't so you don't have any shows coming up but people can find you on the internet. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now have a Facebook page.
A Facebook fan page.
That's right.
And it's Phil and Wes with an F.
Yes, Fill and Wes Improv. Phil and Wes Improv.
That's wonderful. Now, you, what has life been like for you as improvisers?
That's a hard question.
It's been very, a lot of growth involved. I think it sort of makes you become more comfortable around humans. Makes you more comfortable.
It makes us more normal. We are more normal for it.
Phil, why don't you take this one?
Improv, at least for me, has really been a very positive thing because I'm a very negative, cynical person.
Okay.
So the concept of yes-anding, you know, always agreeing and being positive and kind to your partner and stuff has really helped me to not be such a dick. So yeah, so it's really like helped me to at least open up more. How about you, Wes?
Yes.
Well, it was a beautiful performance. It had notes of oak and vanilla, and sweet on the palate with a nice finish. Good. And I want to thank you guys for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you for having us. Yes.
Anytime.
So that was great. That was Phil and Wes. You want to make sure to find them on Facebook, like their fan page, and then whenever they start doing shows, like hardcore, like for real, you're going to be the first to find out about it. We'll be right back with a doctor after these brief messages. Welcome back to the Mexican Inquisition. We have a very special guest for you tonight. He is a UNM professor from the Anderson School of Management, and his name is Dr. Harry Van Buren. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
I don't know how long this goes for.
We'll find out. We can just turn it back over.
I'm going to grill you now,
Please, grill me.
but not with questions.
I mean, literally grill me? I mean, the studio lights are pretty bright here.
The improvisers are pretending to... No hand motions. So what is it you teach exactly at UNM?
So I teach a lot of courses on business ethics. So I teach courses for executive MBAs and regular MBAs. Every other year is punishment for my sins. I think I teach a freshman class. You know, that's always a lot of fun. But I really tend to focus on...
Is that not fun?
It's a challenge. Somebody's got to work with the freshmen, and the great thing about it is it's a program that's designed to help keep them at UNM and help them graduate in 4 years. But it's definitely a challenge, and the great thing about teaching executive MBAs, because I focus on ethical issues in business, is they bring real work experience to these really important topics.
What kind of ethical issues in business are people worried about?
They should really be worried about issues related to the environment. So global warming, for example, is a major concern, but there's lots of other...
Depends who you ask.
Well, it doesn't really depend on who you ask, because there are people that have it right and people who have it wrong. I mean, 99.9% of people, as opposed to Donald Trump and a few conservatives. I don't think that really counts. But I do a lot of work on the employment relationship because I was the son of a union steward, so I'm really concerned about the nature of the employment relationship and how we treat people fairly in our economy.
So yeah, one person would look at this and be like, climate change, folks, time is running out. And then other people would be like, that's not a...
It's great to have a metaphor right on the desk.
Yes. So our show's producer, Stephanie Tejas, is a former student of yours, is that true?
She is.
What kind of a student was she? Was she one of those... Was she one of those freshmen that you had to try to convince to stay in school, or, you know?
This isn't being recorded, right?
No.
Okay, good. No, Stephanie was a lot of fun. Very challenging student, always wanting to, challenge, me or other people, but really, really interested and concerned about the issues that I was concerned about in class.
Which were?
Employment and the environment, and basically trying to create a world that's good for everybody, not just for the 1% or the top 10th of 1%.
It's interesting that you brought that up because, obviously, there's a huge wealth gap in this country right now.
And it's growing.
It's like bigger than it's ever been in the history of the universe,
Yeah.
some have said.
Pretty much.
And that's more than likely contributing to the economic situation that people
Yeah.
are facing, where we seem to have some sort of industrial average going up, but nothing's really changing on the ground
Right.
for anybody, and wages are stagnating. With this Democratic landslide, specifically in our state and around the country, how do you think that things might change for the people
Right.
in the working class?
Well, at the federal level, there's probably not going to be a lot that happens because the Senate is still in Republican hands, and of course, you still have President Trump, always important to get quote marks in there for irony. But there is a real possibility of doing something at the federal level on infrastructure. And if I were the Democrats in the House, I would put together a big infrastructure bill, which is really good for working class people, and dare President Trump and dare the Senate to vote that down. So at the federal level,
Sure.
there's probably not very much that's going to happen. What the Democrats really have to do in the next 2 years is to talk about the working class and talk about incomes for people who aren't at the very top and how things would be different and better with a Democratic president and a Democratic Senate.
Well, how can things possibly be sustained? Because let's say we didn't. I don't like to do quotes. I like to do President Trump.
Good to use all the fingers.
If we were to pass some major infrastructure bill,
Yeah.
that would be a lot of construction, a lot of jobs created. But
Yeah.
it would be like a shot in the arm. It wouldn't be a long-lasting economic.
But we have so many infrastructure projects. I go to Europe quite a bit to visit my wife and my son, who's a student in Germany, and their infrastructure works really well. So we have such a backlog of infrastructure,
Right.
roads and bridges and airports and things like that. And those are jobs that can be created right away. And yeah, you're right to point out that that would be a shot in the arm. But we're talking about a backlog that goes back 10, 15, 20 years.
Okay.
So that can be pretty substantial for a whole bunch of people.
30, 40 years of amazing infrastructure spending and working is completed. Now what?
Well, at that point, I'll be pretty much, at the end of my career. So whatever happens after that, it's somebody else's concern apparently. I've got a 40-year. I'm 51, so I've got a 40-year time horizon, and that's about it.
Right.
But you asked about the state level, and there's a real opportunity in the state because we have a Democratic governor, we have a Democratic House and Senate, but more importantly, we have some new money. We've got more than $1 billion. And this is a real opportunity, I think, to get things right, to focus on the things that matter. So infrastructure, for example, we're really two states. We've got a state roughly on the I-25 corridor from Belen to Los Alamos, and that part of the state is fairly urban, fairly well off. You've got whole communities throughout the rest of the state that are really far apart, don't have good infrastructure like internet access, don't have access to things like mental health care services.
Right.
So there's a real opportunity to look at economic development and look at the needs of our communities and use this new money to make an enormous difference, and I think really show what democratic and progressive governance can do, not just for New Mexico, but for the country.
So by new money, sure, yeah, clap. So by new money, you're talking about like the surplus, the oil, natural gas situation.
Exactly.
Well, I was watching the news, and
There's nothing good
Rio
on that.
Grande Foundation's resident Koch brothers stooge, total psychopath Paul Gessing was saying that we should be very careful with that money, and we shouldn't spend any of it.
And what should we use that money for instead?
Hair implants for Paul Gessing.
I don't know if $1.5 billion is enough.
I don't know if you've
To
seen
really
his.
make it
I don't know if
lifelike?
you've seen his 5-head. I don't know if you've seen it. We could probably spend some money there. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you'd like to tell all the young, hip viewers that rage comment on our episodes?
So the thing I would want to tell them is 2018 was great, and it was great to have young people turning out in the election, but we still only had 30% among some key demographics. 2020 is going to be a huge, huge election. It's a cliche, but it's the most important election in your lifetime, and you've got to get out and vote, but more importantly, you've got to get involved, you've got to participate, you've got to go door to door, because if you don't do that, we're not going to have an opportunity to undo all the damage that's being done right now by this current administration.
All right, Dr. Harry Van Buren III.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. We had Phil and Wes. Make sure to check out their Facebook page.
Yeah.
And I want to thank one more time our studio audience, our studio crew. Everybody's amazing. Our head writer, Ann Gora, Troy Wilson, Kendra Brand. You guys are kicking out of the park for us every week, writing jokes on this very difficult show. Good night, everybody. Come see us again next week.
Yeah.